Hey guys, so I'm fairly sure you'll notice a change in my mood, which I think you'll all realise means that I've got some good news to share with you all. I have no power but to be happy. I'm just powerless. I must be happy because I've been in the centre of a miracle. And we still have a little way to go, but it's provided me with everything I require. Now, when I spoke, you all know that we had 70 children who I was planning on telling these children that they were going to have to leave school. I also didn't have what I needed for the boys at Angel's Gate to be able to send them to their vocational training and to send them to do their courses at the equivalent of college here, things of this nature for the older boys. And I was heartbroken. I was just literally heartbroken. I didn't know what to do. And I spent 48 hours deep in prayer with God, and I laid in bed awake the night before I made that video. And I figured I would make a video, but at the same time I didn't want to, because I kind of had a feeling I didn't want to tell everybody what was happening, you know, because I somewhere in me I'm human, and I was being stupid thinking, you know, it doesn't reflect so well on me that I'm not even able to provide for the boys. But then I was like, you know, how many people take in 57 children, so maybe it's okay, you know, that I didn't have the money for that. And I laid awake in bed and I pleaded with God. I said, you must have something to do. There must be a way. And I said in my video that I was so stressed and strained, and Fritzy could see it. And in the office, I just moved my hand away from my shoulder, and it was open like this, and a feather came through the window over my shoulder and landed in the palm of my hand. And as I said, I burst into tears, because I know this is God's way of saying, hey, I'm here, yeah, I'm with you. Don't forget that. So, in that video we had 70 children, as I say, and as of now, I only need sponsors for 30 children. It's less than 24 hours since I've made that video, and we have had 40 people come forward and sponsor children. 40 people in less than a day. And I've never seen anything like it before. I've never seen it in my 4 years here. I've never seen a response to a video like this. And, well, I have seen a response to a video like this, actually. The video I made about Angel's Gate got a big response when I explained what was happening to the boys. But I've never seen in the Children's Fund, never had 40 sponsors in a day. I think the most we've had is like 10 or something like that in a day. So that leaves us 30 children. However, we had monetary donations, and we had a few small ones, a few medium-sized ones, and we had two very generous monetary donations as well. And it's enough for me to... I also had, I should say, someone who's climbing Killy offered to share the money from the climb with us early, because it's just sitting in their bank account as well. So all of that combined has allowed us to find a position where we can say that the boys can go to their training starting this week, no problem at all. That the 70 children can all go back to school. We can write promissory notes for the schools. Of course, the money comes in monthly. Some people pay it annually as well, which is a blessing, a true blessing, but most people are paying monthly, so we can tell the school, we'll pay you every month for the child, just keep them in there. And the other 30, the other donations were enough for me to secure them and place those children in school as well. And God provided us with what we needed. And you guys were the way He did it. Now, I prayed hard, as I say, and I always say I pray to God and He uses people to answer those prayers. Now, if you're among those people and you're an atheist and you don't like what I've just said, I am sorry, and I respect your beliefs, but if you shared from a loving heart, just the way I see it is that God is the one who gave you the loving heart. But all praise and thanks to the people as well. Truly all praise and thanks to the people who did share. But what I'll say what I will say, guys, is that, first of all, God answers prayers, and he answers them in ways that you can't possibly imagine, but he does answer them. You've just got to pray, first of all, for the right things sometimes. It's no good for everyone praying. You know, every person in the world can't pray to be the President of America. It's not going to happen. There's only one position. And God probably could never ever get someone in to be the President of America because they're governing the domain of something that's not God's, as I often say. But it's just an example anyway. You can't all pray for the same thing and expect to get it, but in your own way you'll get what you're praying for. And, you know, since coming here and witnessing all these miracles, I am very, very blessed to live in amongst what I do. And I know you guys struggle out there in the West, because when I'm there visiting, I see it. I see the media bombarding you with all this negative stuff, and you just get to the end of the week and you're like, man, humanity is done for. There's no way humanity is going to pull itself out of where it is now. And I can tell you what, it can, guys. It absolutely can. Apart from the fact all these children will be in school, I can tell you now that there is hope for humanity, and there is hope in God, and there is hope for God to steamroll this darkness which is sweeping across aspects of the planet. All these wars and the media and all of the controlled politics can be wiped clean if we all work together. Because there's hope. I promise you, there's hope. Miracles can happen. But progression can happen, and that doesn't need to be a miracle, as long as we all stick together and do it together. Today I got a message from Stuart, who's helping me do the Killy climb, actually. And I think this says it quite well. He said he's been going down the rabbit hole a bit, meaning he's just been looking at world events and seeing what's going on behind it, you know, behind the scenes. And he said he got the feeling that there is some sort of dark energy, as I once said, that's controlling these people. And for sure there is. Of course there is. The thing that drives persons who shared with those children is a loving God. And you can't see a loving God driving people to start wars and so on and so forth. For certain there's an opposing force going on here. But he also said that there's something special going on here, because there's this light in amongst all of this darkness. And he's right. And I said to Fritzy, as I went to bed early in the morning, after 4 o'clock this morning I went to bed, Fritzy was already asleep, and I woke her up and she was a bit bleary-eyed, and I said, Fritzy, we're really part of something amazing here. Something truly special is happening around us. Truly part of something very, very special. And I said, this community we have online is an unbelievable group of family of people. I said, and they all want to help. I said, all of them want to help. Maybe these people who didn't help couldn't help, but they still want to. I said, it's hundreds of people just wanting to help and know what the right thing to do is. Hundreds of people who know that it's correct that a child should have what they need. The basics should be given to every child. And people know it. And regardless of what your media is doing to you, or what the Hollywood movies are doing to you, or what the music industry is telling you, I'm telling you there's hope. There is absolutely hope, because look at all of you guys in this community. And I see people talking in the Facebook comments, and everyone's very supportive and loving, and for sure we all have our odd conflict with one another and a difference in opinions, but when it comes down to knowing what is right and what is wrong, we all know what is right and we all know what is wrong. And if in this tiny little place there's so many good people, then there's hope. And as Stuart said, it's a light. Now, if many small lights get together, if you put many candles together, the light just keeps getting bigger and brighter and bigger and brighter. And as you do, then the shadow that was encroaching on that original candle just gets further and further away. And the more little candles you get together in unison, the bigger the light is that you shine, and the further away the shadow must flee. And as St. Francis said, a single sunbeam casts away many shadows. It's the same with any light. The shadow can only be when there's a lack of light. And the problem we have on the planet is that the persons who have gotten together and gotten very organised seem to be the ones who are serving the shadow. But if we who serve the light, we who live in light, get together and get organised, in small ways, even if many of us do small things like share Tanzania and Feather's Tail and Angel's Gate, if many of us can do that, then it will exude a huge light. Because eventually the light will get big from Tanzania, the light will get big from another country, and they'll all start to meet. And then you've got these little pockets of where the shadow can hide. Now at present you have expanses of shadow because they are very well organised, and you have these small lights who are the people who are not together yet. But if we get together, we can cast a massive light, and the shadow must flee. Where can it hide? And there's hope, guys. There's absolutely hope, and I just want you all to not get sucked into this negative mainstream media and believe that somehow the planet is doomed, because it's not. Because God's got a plan. And regardless of everything what's going on around you, something beautiful, something majorly beautiful and life-changing happened today. 70 children who don't even know that the dark was about to encroach on them are still wandering around in the light. Still feeling secure, still don't feel any more vulnerable because no one said maybe you can't have school. "70 children. That's enough. For today, it's enough. For tomorrow, maybe it's another 70 somewhere else in the world. Maybe it's another 100, 1,000, 1,000,000. But for today, that 70 children was enough for me to say that there is a huge light being cast upon this world at the moment. But those media outlets who are fragmenting light and giving it to us, they will never ever report on that. They'll never tell you that 70 children managed to stay in school today in Tanzania thanks to lots of people getting together on the internet. They'll never tell you that the panda is no longer on the endangered species list. They'll never tell you that this year they are starting to clean up the oceans and believe that using machinery that they've created, 40% of the plastic will be gone from the ocean. They'll never thump that into you with as much passion as they thump into you the idea that some gargoyle is building a wall. Because they don't want you to have hope. Because hope empowers you. Because I'm filled with hope over the brim today. And I know that I'm going to get a lot done tomorrow. And I know I'm going to get a lot done the next day. And I know I'm just going to keep shining light. And I'm going to keep collecting the light that you guys share with me to shine here as well, where it is often far too dark. But feeling this feeling that I have tonight is exactly the feeling that you guys must find in yourself. You must not let it be stolen from the system you live in. Because I promise you there's hope. There's hope in God and there's hope in humanity. And I don't care if it seems ever so small when there's billions of children out there and only 70 have now got a more safe and secure year ahead of them, or 2 or 3, 4 years ahead of them. Doesn't matter. It makes a difference. When you make a difference, you attract more light. And the more light you attract, the further away the shadow must go. So I think I rambled enough in my feeling of romantic hope this evening, but thank you. Thank you for believing in what I have been creating here with God, and thank you for believing in what I was trying to do, but more than anything, thank you for caring about the children. I know they're children you'll likely never ever meet, and I'm going to do my utmost, my very best to make sure that you're part of their lives, even if it's only twice, 3 times a year. We're struggling with that at the moment, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that you can see what you've done. so you can have a picture of the child on your fridge, and no matter how bad your day was or whatever mistakes you made, you can always look at that picture and say, hey, but at least I protected that child today, because that's what you've done, and you've protected them from many possible bad realities that can happen to you. So to everybody who shared, thank you. Thank you for lifting me up. Thank you for lifting the children up. Thank you for protecting them, for believing in them, and for wanting to help them when they are just a faceless, nameless child. When you reached out, they were just a number that I spoke of. Thank you. And to everyone who's part of this community online and Facebook and YouTube and everything like that, I truly feel we're all part of something special, and I love that I'm starting to connect with everybody, and I get to meet them in person when they come for the Killy climb. And there's something very special going on, and this is only one place, and it's only happening because I gave myself over to God and to love. So I really, really advise, or I really, really hope, I might not be in a position to give out advice, but let's just say I would hope that persons who often come to me and say, I'm quite inspired by what you do, would go out and do the same thing. Because the world needs bridges, guys. Because that's all I am. I'm a bridge for your light to get to the darkness. And we can all be that. So, anyway, as I say, I've rambled enough, but thank you. Much love.
We're a part of something special. We're a part of something special. We're a part of something special. It's a crack in time, a wrinkle falling from the nest, young eagle. I will pull my feathers out, stay humble, stay humble, stay humble.